This. Well, praise the Lord, everybody. Welcome to On Point, the number one Saturday morning Christian-based call-in talk show in America, live every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on any smart device at David G. Evans 1. Won't you please like, share, and subscribe to the On Point broadcast? Let a few people know. Tag some folk on whatever site you're on if that's possible. Call some folk, text them, inbox them, whatever you have to do. But invite them to join us this morning for the number one Saturday morning Christian-based call-in talk show in America. We are so glad to have the opportunity to speak with you again, for you to call in and give us your thoughts as we talk about culture, we talk about faith, we talk about politics, sports, current events, but all from a kingdom point of view. So we have the most knowledgeable callers, but we have the most civil callers, as we are not a program that requires you to agree with us. We can have diverse opinions, but we can come to an understanding. The only way you learn people is to hear what's on their hearts and then respond based on what they believe as it relates to what you believe, not as an opposition, but as a learning. So we try to have not just conversation, but we love having dialogue with you. So why don't you call somebody, invite someone to join this great conversation. Of course, joining us once again is our world famous co-host, Reverend Nicholas A. Smith. Hey man, how you doing this morning?
Hey, how you doing? What's up, y'all?
Doing all right. You know, if you have questions today, like Pastor Smith has already said or noted in the chat, that you can put your questions in the comment section, and we will try to address many of them during the program. Because today we are without phones, so the only way we're going to be able to communicate is with you via the internet through the comment section. So it's going to be a little different, but I believe it'll be just as effective. Hi, Beverly. How are you?
Hello, hey, y'all.
So we're looking good today. You all are jumping on so fast. I'm so glad to see it. Stephanie, good morning. Barbara, good morning. Rockmart, Georgia. Where's Rockmart come in? Hey, Corey, how you doing? Valerie Kimball. We had a good time in Issachar the last 2 days. Was Pastor Nick, was that Corey's first time?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, it won't be his last.
Yeah.
Hey, Barbara Bass, how you doing? Melanie Crawford, how are you this morning? Joanne Crafton Beckett, how are you? Elaine, good to see you again. Glendora, how you doing? Hey, Thomas, Shirley, Ava, Brian. Yeah, I knew as soon as I saw your face, Corey, I knew you were gonna be in for something good.
Yeah.
That guy Thursday night.
Dale Coulter.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
His thing with revival was good.
man. Hey, Pastor Andre Johnson, how you doing from
Hello,
Guam?
hello. Yeah.
Welcome from Guam. How are you? Marie Dow. Hey, Marie.
Yeah. Whoever's in
All
the
it-
sorry.
Go ahead, man.
Whoever's in the Facebook user that you're in our conversations group, we can't see your name. You're in the hospital. Call us at the church and let us know who you are so we can pray for you. Sorry, we don't see your name. It just says Facebook user.
Yeah. 52 miles from Atlanta. Okay, got it. Antoinette, good to see you. Debbie.
Okay.
Yeah, Coulter was something, wasn't he? Donna Crawford. Shirley Jones, Birmingham, Alabama. I was just thinking about Birmingham yesterday. Marlene. Guam. What's the name of your church in Guam, Pastor Johnson? Loretta Patterson, Long Beach, California. Hi, good morning. Glad y'all could join us. Come on, share, like, always subscribe, hit that notification button so you can join us on our blogs and on our broadcasts and all the other things that we hope that we do that will bless you. Hi, Nikki. How are you? First time. Welcome. Crystal Gaines. Hey, Crystal. Heck, I'm used to her being here with us.
All right.
Hey, Ty Thompson. Yvonne, Bright Star. Hey, how you doing? Give some people some hugs for me. Costin Parr, how you doing? Burlington County, okay. We need to know about that. Costin, about the testing centers you found out about. J.B. Brinkley. What's it called? AFB Chapel. Anderson AFB Chapel. Okay. God bless your work, man. Hey, Jeff, Keefe, Rita. We're sure of one thing today, Pastor Nick.
Mm-hmm.
There will be no feedback when Keefe calls.
Right.
Hi, Bree. Althea, how are you? Sid Webster. Yeah, it's a bit nippy out, as my grandma used to say. Pearl Edwards. Good morning. So, Ron DeSantis in Florida is pushing a bill that would prohibit schools and private businesses from making people feel guilt about the country's racist past. Is there any other, Atronace, is there any other part of American history other than January 6th that you can think of off the top of your head? And of course, the massacre of Native Americans. Can you think of any other parts of history that America wants to literally get rid of?
Well, I think they're playing this well in an evil way.
Okay.
What they're trying to do is erase a lot of African American history from slavery and all those things.
Right.
Now, I wouldn't say erase them, but rephrase how the narrative was.
Okay.
So now they're taking regular Black history, regular history about Native Americans, and calling it critical race theory.
Okay.
So they won't make white people feel uncomfortable. So they're trying to kind of they're playing it very well, reshape how the narrative of what it's like to be a Black person in the country. So instead of being slaves, they were interns. Instead of them being treated badly, they were happy and that kind of thing.
Oh, so what are they saying about the Native Americans? They're reshaping that too?
They're trying to, well, that's not as loud as African American history, but I'm sure they're going to reshape that too.
So in essence, what happened to you really didn't happen to you.
Yeah, or it wasn't as bad as people said it was.
Wow. I mean, the country went to war about it, so it might have been a serious issue if the whole country was divided and went to war concerning it.
But now they're saying they went to war over states' rights, not slavery. But the whole premise was the states' rights to have slaves. That's what the whole point was about. So now they're trying to eliminate racism by calling everything critical race theory.
What's unfortunate is we can't be the nation that we are without the processes that have gotten us here.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that process was slavery and injustice to women, and and when we realized the Constitution was not written for everybody, it was written to support a certain segment of American society.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So they're trying to they're reshaping it. I think that's the greater point. It's not just let's not make white people feel uncomfortable. The greater point they're trying to do is reshape how the story of America has been told. So you want to whitewash it and take it back to this grand narrative of everything was great. We were never divided before.
But it wasn't. It wouldn't be the truth.
Yeah.
There would not have been a reason for the war if there was no. So are they going to eliminate the Civil War also?
They're reshaping it again to it was a states' rights thing, and the states wouldn't be able to do what they wanted to do.
States' rights to have slavery.
That's the whole point. We know that, but they're trying to reshape the whole thing. Okay. And again, critical race theory is not even taught in schools.
It's not taught at all.
That's why they're trying to call everything that they don't like racism. Somebody said the problem they have is they don't want their grandkids to learn about the stuff they did when they were younger to Black people. That's really what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
They're trying to erase it.
I know when I was working in commercial banking in Philadelphia, the Root series came out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was one of one working in the department that I was working in.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the credit analysis, not credit like people have a 600, 700, but I was analyzing uh, large banking institutions, large corporations. My customers were like FedEx and Sears at the time, and the phone companies, those type of companies were the credits or the financial statements that I was analyzing.
Mm.
And uh, Roots came out, and one person in my office walked over and talked to me about it. Everyone else acted as though it wasn't on television.
Mm.
And um, I asked the young lady, Kathy was her name. I asked her, you know, what are you feeling about this? She said it's difficult to watch. My husband and I know it was real, but it's extremely difficult to watch, and most of us are not going to watch it because we really don't want to know how bad it was.
Yeah, because they know. And my thing is like this: I'm not blaming anybody presently for what happened
No,
in
but we're not. You
1700s,
can't
1800s, but
can't
you can't
eliminate.
ignore it.
Can't ignore what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, and we can't ignore what's being perpetrated today and the silence of people.
Hmm.
What Martin Luther King said in his Birmingham speech was about what really got him was silence, the silent evangelical, the ones not the ones rioting in the streets
Yeah.
against black rights, but the quiet ones that are just letting this thing go and not doing anything to help anybody.
You know what's really strange. I'm often the only black man in the room when I'm at a meeting and boards and things like that. And it's funny. I don't blame the people that are around me that are not black for the discrimination I went through when I was in my 15s, the 20s, and 30s. I don't blame the people now for that. And the people that I'm around don't want to be blamed for stuff that I went through 30, 40 years ago. But that doesn't eliminate my experience, but also, you know, why can't people have the same, white people have the same understanding? We're not blaming you, just like I'm not blaming people for things that happened to me.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know, why is that perspective so difficult to this is who we were, but we're not like that anymore, unless there are some vestiges of those mindsets still existing in the society that we're in right now, which is absolutely true.
Yeah, some of them still think like that.
So it's not really you're making us feel guilty. How dare you say anything about it?
Yep. Yeah, to make me feel right. Yeah, they don't want to own up to it. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say all, but some of them don't want to own up to what the issue really is.
And
But
I think Ty has a good point. I think the LGBT thing is kind of, I wouldn't say erasing, but minimalizing what happened to black people. And also, most people don't know, and this may start some conversation, that the Black Lives Matter thing did not start as a civil rights for black people thing. It started as a civil rights for gay women.
the organization, yes.
Yeah, the organization. If you read their mission statement, there's a lot of things in there that most people would not agree with. Elimination of the family as we know it, and all that other kind of nonsense that they have in there. I don't know why we can't. I can't. What is the problem with coexisting?
Yeah, and just being acceptable that
Just coexisting.
just
You got some stuff. I got some stuff. Let's get
yeah,
along.
yeah.
Let's move forward.
Yeah,
Let's
or stay away from each other. Like
correct this stuff and let's move forward.
yeah, and just
Because we can't be united in isolation. So let's admit we got some mistakes in the past. I mean, people do it in relationships all the time. Let's admit we got some relationships. I said some stuff wrong. You said some stuff wrong. Let's see if we can chart a course forward.
Yeah. No, we some groups demand total agreement, acceptance. Nothing outside of it. It just
somebody has to lie to do that.
Yeah.
You know, what's that we used to say? If you agree all the time, either somebody's lying or somebody's crazy.
Well, it takes a level of maturity to say, we don't agree in these areas, and it's okay. We can
Yeah.
find agreement in these areas,
Yeah.
and it doesn't mean we have to be friends with everybody. We can keep it moving.
Hmm.
But we're in a very polarizing time right now.
Yeah. Isaac said that in South Carolina, the mindset is still alive and popping, are his
Oh,
words.
no, if you go down there, you feel the oppression when you enter the state. You really can.
So you can't run over someone's foot with your car, apologize, and then ask them to behave as though their foot was never run over. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, yeah. But that's what they're trying to do in a lot of southern places. And I'll give it to them. They're doing it well because the last midterm elections,
Hmm.
they branded CRT, CRT, CRT like crazy
But
until they scared a bunch of people.
why are we so silly that we can't say, you know what? They're not teaching that to my child.
That's
What?
pe-
I mean,
people are living in fear.
power suggestion.
It's probably Trump gave them a huge platform on how to do this stuff. Scare the mess out of them with irrational fears, and they'll come in. Well, no, actually, Lyndon Baines Johnson said that. LBJ said that.
Hmm.
He said you can pick a white man's pocket as long as you make him feel more superior than a black man. I'm paraphrasing the statement.
True. Yeah, it's true. He said it like that. Yeah.
If you keep making them afraid of this, it's gonna happen.
Clarence Thomas voted again. Not Clarence Thomas. Is that his name? The Supreme Court judge. What's his name?
The black one.
Yeah.
It's Clarence Thomas. Yeah.
Yeah. I think of the singer Clarence Thomas every time I think that. Clarence Thomas was the only one that voted against releasing the former president's records.
Yeah, because his wife is big in the MAGA thing.
Well, that's what was just said.
And,
That's what someone said on the comments rate just a moment ago.
Yeah, she's big into that thing, and she makes public statements about January 6th, and
So you telling me he was trying to keep peace at home, or he believes that also?
he probably believes that stuff too, because he usually votes the opposite way too for years.
I think he's a contrarian. I don't think he believes half the stuff he votes for. I think he just loves. I think he loves the attention and loves the controversy. I have contemporaries who thrive on negative publicity.
Or he thinks he's different than everybody else.
Well, obviously, where he is, he
Yeah.
probably does think he's
Yeah,
different.
I'm not like the rest of these black people.
Tad's crazy. She said, "Good old Clarence from the Blind Boys." Oh goodness. Oh, they're both MAGA. I didn't know they were both MAGA.
Yeah.
So if we make America great again, where does that put Clarence Thomas?
He doesn't see himself with the rest of everybody else. He's still.
It reminds me of a Bible story. And I have Bible for just about everything that we talk about. It reminds me of when Mordecai asked Esther, and I'm paraphrasing, don't think for a moment when the deal goes down, you're going to escape what's happening to your people. Don't think for a moment. I find that true friendship, especially among people of different races, is only proven in times of stress. I have a friend, Mark Sharona, which everybody knows. Mark and I have been friends forever. And in one or two instances where race has been an issue, Mark has proven himself to be my friend, not my white friend who has a black friend, not a black guy that has a white friend.
Yeah.
If he's had to stand against, people that automatically expected him to side with them because of race, he has disappointed them and proven to me repeatedly that he is my friend no matter what. As a matter of fact, I've had to pull him back a few times.
Yeah.
And I think that's when you really find out whether people are with you or not, is when they have to take a stand sometimes against those that are their own people.
Yeah, and not worry about losing friendships and
yeah.
But the fear part is what they got, and they know they keep feeding this fear.
Yeah.
See, they think we're going to come take over, and do to them what was done to us. When we want equality, we don't want revenge.
No, we want revenge.
We want equality.
No, and there's a small segment of African Americans who want revenge.
Yeah.
Something you taught me years ago is that for some people, equality is oppression, because equality looks like something's being taken away from me. Hello, Pakistan, how are you doing? They say, William from Pakistan, how are you? I think that, and I get that mindset, but that mindset has to be addressed through dialogue and conversation.
Yeah.
You know, we're not asking you to give up anything. And in actuality, you always ask the question, okay, what did you lose? And the reality is they feel like they're going to lose something. They're not going to lose anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Emmett Till's murderer, one of the main guys, when they did the interview after they got, declared not guilty. His premise was, I don't have a problem with black people. His premise was, as long as they stay in their place.
Really?
So, and you still have people that think like that.
What place is that?
They exist, but as long as they're not equal, voting way, integrating with our people, as long as they stay in their place, they're cool. And they don't say it like that now, but you still get that same vibe from some people.
Okay.
That y'all can live here, but know the hierarchy here.
Okay.
That's the vibe you get from some folks.
So does that explain the backlash or the response to former President Obama being in office for 8 years?
Because they thought there was going to be a reversal.
But I told you what was said to me. The guys literally said to me, you guys were in charge for 8 years. And I asked him, I said, in charge of what?
Right. Right.
And then he felt as though when President Trump got in office that they were in charge again. That's how he said it like that to me. This is an intelligent, successful individual.
Yep.
I looked at him, I said, I gave you more credit for intelligence than that. When did we think we were in charge?
Yeah, yep. And the growing dynamic of, in the future, people of color are going to be the majority in this country.
Well,
that's scaring people too.
That's the other threat.
So all keeping, that whole drive about Hispanics.
Yeah.
It's scaring people. They're taking your jobs, doing so. That fear monger is a real thing.
Maybe I'm looking at it incorrectly. If I think I'm going to be a minority, do I want to build relationship or do I want to build alienation?
You're thinking logically, yes.
I want to build relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, when we were in the street and we were, in these little groups, they called gangs back then. They call them gangs now, but I think the character of them is a little different. At some point, the leaders of our groups tried to get together and have a conversation.
Yeah.
Because we saw that people were dying and that did not achieve the goals of either group.
Yeah. But and now they got.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
And even though we were an independent group, we would not, our parents would not allow us to be in a gang. We ended up being one, the guys who were the no gang people. And at some point we had to have a conversation.
Yeah. But nowadays you got gangs fighting each other. It was the Bloods against the Crips. Now it's the Bloods fighting the Bloods, Crips fighting the Crips. And it's,
And Pastor Grice makes a good point. There are some people that resented Pastor Obama, President Obama, for not being more aggressive. But I actually think his idea was to try to be the president for everybody in America.
Yeah.
Not what Romney said, that if he got elected, he wasn't going to be everybody's president. He said it. I mean, it was on tape. I heard it. I couldn't believe. But it showed me that people of privilege treat people working and serving them as pieces of furniture. Because he thought he could say that around them and they would never repeat it.
Yep. And I think President Obama understood if he was too aggressive, he'll get that angry black man thing. I mean, you got to think about it. His premise was, if I mess this up, there won't be another black president for who knows how long. So he had to navigate that, because you can't get to where he is being a passive man.
Right.
You just can't.
No way.
No way.
He's not a wallflower. Trust me.
Right. He has had to be selective with how he, now I wish he talked about his accomplishments more.
Well, I think he's depending on history to do that.
Yeah.
And
when he was in office,
I think statistically, history will prove just how effective he was.
Yeah.
But most people don't know that because that message is being suppressed right now.
Yeah. And even Biden right now, not saying all the stuff how the economy's growing back.
I don't know I'm not an expert. So, but I do know this. If you've got the most effective pulpit in the world and you have the right to stand up repeatedly and tell people what's going on, I think it's one of those things that Clinton used very well.
Yep.
And I haven't seen anybody use it as effectively as he did.
Trump used it well.
Well, yeah.
Because he kept talking about, even if it was a lie, all the stuff he was doing, it just kept putting in the face of people.
Yeah.
Until they believed it.
Well, Shirley says she has in-laws that are MAGA and poor. I'll be 70 next week. And in my entire life, I've never seen Republicans concerned about working people. They've always been business focused. But what amazes me is that how do I get excited about a stock market that I've never been invested in?
Right. Look at Trump. The stocks are up because of him. You ain't got nothing in them. You have nothing in there.
Look, it's almost like a look at us, but I'm not involved type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like the spiritual premise is one is raised, all are raised. That's not how the world's premise is.
No.
One's raised, others drown. That's how the world is.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Now, I do agree with Corey on this with the Flint thing. That pissed me off about what President Obama did.
What did he do?
When he went to Flint, he drank a glass of water to kind of show people like, oh, it's not as bad or it's over. And once he did that, the press stopped talking about it.
Obama did that?
Yep. He went to Flint, Michigan during the whole water crisis, drank a glass of water. And once he did that, the press stopped talking about it. And they have yet to fix those pipes for the most part.
He probably jumped on the plane. His doctor hooked him up to an IV and chelated all that lead and stuff out of his system 5 minutes after he got on the plane.
Yeah, or he gave him some different water. But that did kind of.
He shouldn't have done that. That was just wrong. He shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
I never heard that.
Yeah. As soon as he did it, they stopped talking about it.
He should have never done that.
Mm-hmm.
That was just plain wrong.
Yep.
And you're right, Sid. I don't believe he drank it either.
Yeah. He probably gave him some different water.
Yeah, Sister Obama would have gone upside his head if he had tried to drink that bad water, man. Come on. Come on. You got your mind. Yeah. Pastor Andre said he drank bottled water.
It had to be.
Yeah, that he brought from the White House.
Yeah.
Man.
But that was unfortunate. But yes, I think their strategy, like voting rights, critical race theory, is evil, but it's genius. And evil is often genius.
Well, but part of the political process, especially on the Republican side, is to appeal to the emotion of people and do it so often that people believe that it's fact.
Yep.
I do think Democrats could be a lot better, do a lot better job messaging about their successes. I don't think they do enough.
They don't.
It's almost as though they're either afraid or reluctant to say, look at what we've done. But when you have another group of people saying, look at what you're not doing, you need to stand up and counter that message, not let that get drilled into people who don't know what they're talking about, believe it.
Yep. Yeah. No, I agree with you. They're, as you say, what do they say? Democrats are playing corporate.
Yeah.
Democrats playing corporate.
They're fighting like they're in a Marquis de Queensberry prize fight.
Yeah.
Republicans are street fighters.
Yep. And they are. And they show these little subtle things, like what Mitch McConnell said. this week. Little subtle things to feed their people to get stuff started.
Yeah.
Did you hear what he said?
No.
Oh, so he was doing an interview.
Who?
Mitch McConnell.
Oh, Lord.
And he said African Americans are voting in just as high percentages as Americans.
Oh, no, he did not.
Yes, he did. Now, he came out and said, I didn't mean it like that, but
He said it. He meant it.
he said,
The Bible says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. He meant it.
Yeah, that what they call it, Freudian slip, whatever. It came out. And now he's claiming he meant they're voting for Democrats and Democrats aren't doing anything for them.
That ain't what he said. He's been in politics long enough.
Yeah.
He's particular about his language enough. He said what he felt.
Yep. Yeah.
What is the percentage of, perhaps we haven't talked about this. Who's the guy that's holding up everything in Congress right now? The Democrat, supposedly the Democrat.
Manchin and the lady from Arizona, Sinema, something like that.
Now, I'm sure somebody said it. I'm going to say it now. The reason Manchin is not willing to vote for voting rights is because in his state, him voting against it is not going to hurt him.
Mm-hmm.
West Virginia is 98% Caucasian.
Mm-hmm.
So if they don't pass a voting rights bill, it's not going to hurt Manchin. The second thing that I believe that's a point I want to make is this. There are some people that are backing Manchin, some money that's backing Manchin, that if he votes for the voting rights, it's going to kill. He's in a great position for himself. Number one, voting against voting rights will not hurt him as it relates to votes in West Virginia because it's 98% white. Number two, if he votes against voting rights, there are some people that are going to support him financially, so he doesn't blow that. Those are the two reasons. Nobody's talking about it.
Yep. It's all money.
It's money, and it's not going to hurt his political career in his state.
Absolutely, you're right, because he's a Democrat but votes like a Republican. So, but even the lady in Arizona, Sinema, however you say her name,
Sinema, like a movie, Sinema. Yeah,
same thing with her too.
Yeah,
she's being backed financially. So they thought they had an ally and end up turning.
And she's in Arizona, right?
Arizona, yep.
That's primarily white state. She doesn't lose. But at the end of the day, Melanie's right. It's about money.
Yeah, they get in to take care of their donors.
But they must have some big dollars behind them and are not concerned with historical legacies. At all.
They're worried about the money. Because Sinema, she's being funded by some of the prescription companies.
Okay.
And that's why she didn't vote for the prescription bill.
Yeah, she doesn't care. She's getting paid. She doesn't care if we have to pay $300 for a bottle of pills.
Yep. So I mean, it's
But what I don't understand is this. Now, presidents like Bush, Clinton, you were at risk of your political agenda if you went against them. Because they were not shy about leveraging the power and the influence of the presidency. And they knew you were going to want something down the road that you wanted them to support. Isn't that kind of leverage being exerted anymore? I mean, from our present president, I know Trump did it to the nth degree. But Biden, I'm not sure that he's using all of his leverage.
I don't think it doesn't look like he is. He's trying to be a little more aggressive now.
Trying to get along at first.
Yeah, now he's trying to get a little more aggressive now. But he worked in the Senate for all those years. He should know.
Yeah,
he knows how that thing operates. He knows how that works.
Man.
It's not.
And maybe he's thinking it's a little different now that he's president, but it still wouldn't erase his experience.
Yeah. And I mean, he's most likely going to be a one-term president. Do what you got to do during this time.
Yeah. The mistake I think that he made, and I get it, I think voting rights should have been the number one agenda out the box. And then the Bring Back America agenda.
Yeah.
Build Back America. I get why they put it first, because they're thinking, okay, jobs created, blah, 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 blah. Then we'll do the voting rights. I think they should have struck while they had the ability. And secondly, I think they need to stop waiting for the cooperation of the other party.
Yeah.
I think it's a waste of time,
Yeah.
because the Republicans were taking no prisoners when they had the majority. They took no prisoners. They didn't care how you felt.
Yeah.
They went for what they needed.
Yep. They ran every bill through as long as they had the majority.
Absolutely.
And didn't care about the other side.
Didn't care how they felt at all. But all of a sudden we've got these sensitivities about how they're feeling. And I don't like that. But if it's the only way you can get stuff done at that level, then fine. And I'm still amazed. Somebody needs to explain to me. With a body of politicians as large as the Congress and Senate, why does it appear as though we can only do one major thing at a time?
Right. Yeah. They you would think, but at the same time, if you have over 100 congressmen, over 100 Senate in the Senate, trying to fit everybody's individual interests in there, probably was taking so long.
Okay.
Because they're trying to get their stuff in, this fight for this to get this in. How's it going to benefit where I'm from? And yeah.
But isn't that part of the system well oiled though?
You would think. But then you got people voting party line just to vote party line. So it doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. It's just against what our party's doing.
Yeah, but then the Democrats, with their three factions within the party, progressive, liberals, and conservatives, they're having a hard time coming to common agendas. And I think wasting too much time with everybody trying to, and I'm an environmentalist. I love nature. I think we need to preserve it. And I think it's a high priority. And I think it's a legacy to our young people. But there are some things that have a day-to-day impact that are going to have an immediate impact that the liberals need to understand. It might take 100 years to grow a tree, but it's not going to take 100 years to build a daycare center.
Yeah.
So these points of contention to me don't make much sense.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's just the passivity of some of the Democrats, not one to look like they're being taken over or too controlling. But Republicans never worry about that.
No, and like executive orders, he's right. The guy's right.
Yeah, big government is okay when they're in charge,
right?
But not okay for
no. Just like debt is a problem when other people are in charge. But the debt level is not a problem when Republicans are in charge.
Yeah.
Because I don't care what anybody says, the increase, the tax bill that they pushed through increased the national debt to trillions of dollars. Why? Because if you cut down on the money coming into the cash register, you are no longer able to pay your bills. Now, that is an oversimplified explanation of how the system works and how debt is increased.
Yeah.
But if you can catch hold of that, you get a fundamental understanding. There is no new money. They shift it from place to place. And if you cut the money down coming into the house, if you don't cut expenses, your debt's going up.
Yeah. And they're looking at the immediate help. So they're saying, the bill help middle class and low class people, which it did in the beginning. But again, what's going to happen when the bill comes due?
That's right.
It always happens. Republicans come in, cut taxes. People are like, oh, cool. I saved the extra $20 this week.
Yeah.
But then they're going to have to raise it again.
It's ridiculous.
They're going to cut in that 20 to 40.
It's like the people that are really celebrating getting and you taught me this, celebrating getting this child tax credit money. It does say tax credit. So now the bill is about to be due. And a lot of people are getting ready to be very disappointed because now they're going to owe some money, or they're going to file their taxes and they're not going to get nearly back what they used to get.
It's going to be way low. That extra $300-400, and again, that $300-400 a month can be very beneficial. So people that took it, you should have saved some of it.
They didn't do that.
If
They
you
bought
could,
a lot of them
yeah.
bought TVs and stuff. I saw them in the store.
Because that when tax time comes, they're gonna feel it. It was called an advance for a
Yeah.
reason.
And I think the president, while he has the opportunity, does need to use executive orders and use them beneficially for what people need in the country.
Yeah. Yeah. And Sid brought up something too, that the fact that billionaires have made more money during the pandemic.
Unbelievable. They see it as an opportunity. Unbelievable.
Yeah. And
I think Bezos went crazy, didn't he?
Yes. And you would think this is people say I like capitalism.
Me too.
Right? I see the flaws in it. I see the benefits of it.
We like compassionate capitalism.
There you go. But
okay.
Some people complain about the results, like bad working conditions and all that stuff like that. Guess what? That's a part of capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
You want capitalism, but you don't want the flaws of it, where Bezos can make an extra $30 billion this year, but he doesn't renovate any of the Amazon plants and people are getting sick. Capitalism does not require the CEO to be compassionate and help people out.
Well, here it is. Cybernique asked a question, and the answer is this. We have had to face the cold fact that in America, money is more important than people. Mm-hmm. As long as the money's going to be made, and watch this, and as long as people are foolish enough to put themselves at risk for something they can watch on television. I was watching college basketball last week, Oklahoma and Texas game. Place was full, Pastor Nick. There wasn't a mask in sight.
Yep.
And we have a highly contagious disease going around. Mm-hmm. And I think in the midst of this, our own variant is developing. And I think it's going to be highly contagious and very, very lethal at the same time. And it's going to break through like Omicron is right now, because the hybrid is going to have some Omicron's characteristics. It will be able to overcome the vaccine hurdle. Mm-hmm. But we're creating our own variant. We will not behave.
Yeah. This thing is going to eventually calm down, but not. People are like, "What's going to be an endemic? We might as well live with it. If I get sick, I get sick." And it is what it is. But
that's somebody that's they're talking fatalistic until they get sick.
Yeah,
I don't know anyone that talked like that who ended up in the hospital that feels the same way.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, in the hospital, they were begging for something to help them out. Can I get vaccinated now? Can you give me one of those new drugs? Can you try something on me? Mm-hmm. I know people that said they had never felt that sick in their lives.
Yep. And they're thinking now, because of Omicron, it's not as severe. Well, it'll be like a little flu, a little cold. Cool. But that doesn't mean that everybody's immune system's going to react to it the same way.
Yeah, and some people are in the hospital because of Omicron. I know people in the hospital because of Omicron, which means, like everything else, like Delta and everything else, not everybody reacts the same way.
Yep. Yeah. But that mind is going to be here. We might as well live with it and just deal with it. I think that's.
Surely they there's no way they were going to give away all that money and not hold people responsible for it. You know, I think Pastor Nick told us a story on the program that the reason he didn't take the money was because it basically was a loan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And now, you know, the people have gone out and spent it on TVs and stuff like that. When they file their taxes and they're looking for the traditional $3,000 back, they're going to take their credit first.
Yep. Yep.
And you may end up owing $1,000 or $2,000.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the immediacy of, again, people being wise enough to get the money, do right with it by your kids, save some. I don't think like those stimulus bills they gave us a couple like when they
Yeah,
first started,
yeah.
people was spending all that. Just
Man, they were blowing it.
they didn't save none of it. Just
And here's the problem with that. Now that the bill's about to come due, watch the eviction rate in the country go through the sky.
yeah, that's already started. Yeah.
You know, because people thought the moratorium was a pardon.
Mhm.
But no, these landlords want their money because their banks never stop demanding at least the interest payments.
Mm-hmm.
So the landlords want their money. And if you don't have it, they're evicting people because they can't afford to have a unit that's not producing income anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I look, we know people. There are folk that were naturally legit struggling
Mm-hmm.
and needed legit help
Mm-hmm.
and couldn't pay their bills and stuff because of legit
Absolutely.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people that was sitting around getting that extra money when to not go back to work,
Mm-hmm.
they were wasting that money like on TVs and all this other stuff like that, living it up.
I know people that went on trips.
Mm-hmm. Used it for vacations and stuff, but it's yeah.
Unbelievable. And now they're going to have to pay it back, and you can't go to the resort and ask for your refund.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
No, you
Yeah.
can't go. No, you can't go to the resort and ask for a refund.
Because they thought the stimulus checks, the two or three of them, you didn't have to pay back. But that tax credit,
Yes, sir.
the child one, that
Gotta-
one,
That you got to pay it back.
that's an advance. Yeah.
Yep, that's in advance. They didn't call it a tax credit for nothing.
Yep. Reginald Bennett, there is a when you're talking about natural immunity versus the vaccinations, studies have proven that a good immune system with the vaccine is your best route.
Absolutely.
Our natural immunity can help us with it without the vaccine, but there's no guarantee because the studies have shown us if the vaccinated people are doing better than those who aren't vaccinated. It just is what it is.
And historically, Pastor Nick, a strong immune system has prevented people in the past of other diseases
Mhm.
from getting seriously ill.
Mhm.
Like when I went to Japan and China, I got sick while I was over there.
Mhm.
And that was 30 years ago. I had the flu once in 30 years,
Mhm.
and I never get a flu shot because my immune system, that attack that I was under 35 years ago, actually built something, an immunity against this stuff, not against everything.
Mhm.
You know, and it probably helped me with some other things, but the reality is that, you know, the vaccinations are necessary to give you the boost for a particular type.
Mhm. Yeah. You brought it up. People don't have to get vaccinated to come to the United States. So those who live in other states are doing well with stuff because their immune system is built a little different than ours over here.
When we get ready to go overseas, you got to get a half a dozen shots. I remember when I went to Ecuador, I needed painkillers because of the amount of shots I had to get in both shoulders.
Wow.
You know, both of my deltoids were like swollen for like a week.
Mhm.
They were just combination.
Yeah.
I got over there. Do you have to get any shots to come over here? No.
No. No.
Bring some aspirin with them.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because our immunity is different.
Mm-hmm. So I will pray, Shirley.
Absolutely, sure.
Yeah. So, but time went by quick. It's 9:56.
Wow.
So yeah, it's we went all over the place today, but
I think there are a lot of people waiting with money to occupy these properties where people are going to be evicted.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
These houses are going quick.
Oh yeah. a house is not staying on the market long at all, and people are bidding against one another to get them.
Yeah, and paying
So
30-40% above.
So there's money out here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I feel bad. Some of those people who are renting finding a hard time to find a spot because the owners are selling the houses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was a good time to buy a house when the market was down all those years ago, and some people didn't take advantage of it.
No. And I get it. A lot of wealthy people only buy homes to flip them later. A lot of them lease and rent a lot of their homes because they think that with the down payments and with the maintenance, if they invest the difference, that's the discipline. Invest what they would have put into the property, what they would pay for heating and renovations, put that in the markets, that it's a better return. And if you think about it, it is.
Yeah, if you know how to work the money out, the system out.
Yeah, because everybody that has a home knows that even a new home can cost you money. And then once you're in a house, man, 5 or 10 years, stuff starts to happen. If you're in it 20 years, you got to put some real money in that house to keep it going.
Renovate the whole thing.
Yeah. And most people don't. They think, okay, we just bought the house, 5 years ago. We don't need to put much in it. But there's stuff you need to do along the way. So when you get to that 20-year mark, you're not replacing all these major items.
Yeah, at one time. Yeah. So, wow. Don't forget, we got 1 minute left. Don't forget, we're celebrating Bishop's birthday tomorrow. Well, it's on Tuesday, but Sunday one we do tomorrow.
My birthday's Tuesday?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, 25th.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then, of course, Sunday, the official Sunday celebration. So we want you to tune in. As always, of course, you can sow into his life. At least $70 if you can. If you can do more, do more. On all of our giving platforms. And we're going to, talk about it again on Sunday. And you can mail it in, bring it by. And we want to be a blessing and show love and show support. And trust and believe that God will bless your life as you sow into his. As always. That's what I got. Anything else you want to?
No, just join us all day tomorrow. And I thank all of you who have already sent in your greetings and your cards and your gifts. And I just appreciate you helping us celebrate a very significant year that I thought I'd never reach. But God has been great. God has been good.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to what God is doing. I have this enthusiastic mindset about the moves of God, Pastor Nick. The future is bright.
Yeah, it is.
When the Bible says your latter shall be greater than your former, it's true.
It is.
It's true.
Yeah. Talked about long life will satisfy you and all that good stuff. Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, man. It's just, I think somebody made a statement. I think it was Pastor Sharona. He said, those that have been shepherding their houses before the pandemic came have not had nearly as difficult time as those who had not been.
Yep.
It immediately made me think of, if you have not made a safe place for the sheep to dwell, when calamity hits, they will scatter.
Yep.
But God has been extremely good to us.
Yeah.
Extremely good.
Yeah, that whole scenario planning versus strategic planning was good.
Oh.
That was nice.
Oh.
That was nice.
Yeah, man.
When you think about it, that's what we didn't know the pandemic was coming.
Nope.
But leading up all these decisions that we made in 2019 and 18,
yes, sir,
were scenario planning.
Yes, sir.
For an inevitable thing that was going to happen.
Every contingency.
Yep. Every contingency.
And some of the stuff, and we got to be honest, some of the stuff we really didn't think of it as contingency focused.
Yeah.
But it turned out to be contingency, like the class that I had for the pastors in the last quarter of 2019, bringing the TV cameras into the room. This is what you do online. This is what you don't do. Blah 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 blah. no idea we'd be living online,
Right.
2 months later,
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
all right, y'all. We gotta get out of here. We got a meeting soon. So
yeah. Thank you for joining us today.
yeah.
Join us tomorrow all day long. 8, 9:45, 11, and 6. We look forward, and please let us know how you're enjoying our new worship format. We really like to hear from you. And stay strong and stay saved. And remember, faith acts like a thing is so, even when it's not so, that it might be so. God bless you. And we'll see you tomorrow for the encounter 10 times better and
Yeah.
engage live. Talk to you
See-
soon.
See y'all.